how to make your tech house and house music bass punchy and fat. So the first very important thing is sound selection. What kinds of sounds are you using for the bass line? What kind of sounds are you using for the kick? If the bass line, for example, is a weak sound, it doesn't sound good. This is an example of how a bass line should sound like. So basically what you can see here in Serum is a preset. It's basically this square wave combined with a sine wave. This square wave is responsible for this this energy behind it. Just the saw wave sounds like this. It sounds good as well by itself, but it needs something else, and this square wave or even a saw wave will fix it. The same thing goes now for the kick. If, for example, the kick is chosen poorly, it doesn't have enough punch, it doesn't have enough thumb, enough low end, it's not gonna sound ever good. So this, for example, is a very good kick, but there's also example for kicks which just don't really sound good. This one, for example, is first of all way too long. It doesn't need to be that long. Second of all, now it's too short. It's clashing with the bass line. So for example, this kick has way too many low mid frequencies. They already are so dominant and relevant that basically it cancels out the bass line. Also this one, for example, it doesn't smack. You can make it as loud as possible, but in the beginning, for example, there is this click missing. This sounds way better to me. If you've gotten any value by this video so far, please make sure to like it right now, subscribe to my channel to not miss out any house music production tutorials in the future, and turn the notification bell on to be the first one who's notified when I post a new video, so you can implement all the knowledge and use it in your productions. Then the second thing, of course, is what kind of notes are you installing in the piano roll for your bass line. For example, this sounds really cool, but let's say I create a pattern which sounds like very repetitive and repeats every bar, or even worse, every 2 bars. It sounds very boring. Even though the bassline sounds really good, this bassline pattern is boring, so definitely make sure to write an interesting bassline. Ideally write a bassline pattern which basically repeats every 4 to maybe even every 8 bars, because then notes are changing and it creates some alternation and some variation, and it keeps the listener basically interested in your track. Let me sip on my coffee first. I love a good coffee in the morning. Now let's get more into the technical aspects of mixing. So first of all, of course, when you want to make your bass line match to the kick, first of all, is always use sidechain compression. So in efforts to do how to make your bass be perfectly glued to your kick, everything you have to do is just to go on the kick channel, assign it 1 click here to the bass channel, but with 0% volume, like this. And then on the bass channel, everything you gotta install is a Fruity limiter. Then on the Fruity limiter, you're gonna go in the compression section, with 2 fingers, like with your girlfriend or your boyfriend, click on the sidechain setting, go on kick, and then bring the threshold down, increase the ratio, 3:1, something like that. And what you can see here basically is the volume of the bass line, which is being ducked down every single time the kick is playing. The more you do it, the more experience you get and the easier it gets for you to do it. Attack time should always be as low as possible, because we want, as soon as the kick hits, the bass line should be ducked down. You can obviously use other plugins. For example, I'm personally using the LFO tool because it's the same principle. You can basically shape the form how you want the bass line to be ducked down. It makes it really easy as well, because you can also just install an LFO tool on the kick channel, and you can see under it straight away how long the kick is. For example, you can see it goes until here, which means that you can adjust the bassline sidechain to exactly where the kick is basically ending. If you obviously want to go more into depth with mixing, song arrangement, sound creation, I'm also offering an online coaching or an online community over Discord. Just wait until the end of this video and you're going to find out more. But let's now continue in the text. So once we establish that the sidechain of the bass is happening in a good level, but not too much, but not too little, then we go more into the mixing and basically start mixing like a sound engineer the bassline sound. So what I like to do a lot of times is use saturation for the lower frequencies of the bassline. For example, this is a plugin, doesn't cost much, I think 30 bucks or something. You can basically saturate specific frequencies. So in this case, if we would saturate the 250 Hertz, we're gonna hear this like square wave from the beginning of the video a lot. which sounds cool as well, but I think it doesn't make sense. What I like to do a lot of times is I like to saturate the low frequencies. Not too much, obviously. I always make sure to bypass the plugin as well to see if it actually makes sense to use it. So now what we can do as well is called parallel processing. This is more of an advanced mixing technique. You can use this also on other elements like your synths or your vocals. But in this case, parallel processing is basically we assign now the bass to an extra channel like this. So we're basically putting it here. Then on this channel, what we're gonna do, we're gonna saturate or compress certain frequencies. This is called parallel processing, so we have basically the same bass signal here twice. This comes in here, so now we have pretty much the double loudness of the bass line. So first of all, what we have to do is upload a high-pass, low-pass filter, which is, for example, here. You can obviously get this house music production template over gumroad.com. The link for that is under this video. So you can have all those channels already assigned with high-pass, low-pass filters ready for you to go and all this playlist already, everything assigned. But in this case, we're gonna have to just use a high-pass, low-pass filter. And then here, we're gonna put a decapitator or a saturation plugin, which could be any plugin you want, also from FL Studio. And we're gonna saturate certain frequencies of the bass line. So let's, for example, just saturate the lower mids. We don't want to saturate the low because that was already saturated in the other channel. Always make sure that the volume of the sub-frequencies will not go too loud, otherwise it's just going to destroy the whole mix. So let's say we want to now saturate frequencies above 100 Hz. What I really like to do is, for example, first of all, high-pass filter. Then I like to use a saturation. So because we high passed, now we can actually put this top saturated bass layer, put it into stereo, which is gonna again make it sound very interesting. I don't do this very often, but a few of my tracks I've definitely done this. Also make sure to check out my Spotify, which is under this video. There's a few tracks you can listen to. So now because we put the lower mid frequencies into stereo, it sounds really interesting, but you never ever want to put the sub frequencies into stereo. Yeah, this was already really cool. If you're now still struggling to get your house music tracks sound professional and you're tired of endlessly tweaking on the knobs without good results, then I have two game-changing options for you. Option number one is my DF Originals VIP online coaching, which is a deep dive program where we're going to basically work together on mixing, mastering, song arrangement, whatever you couldn't really learn over my YouTube tutorials. So I'm going to guide you over 8 to 12 weeks personally through online coaching where you're going to improve way faster than having to figure out everything by yourself. So if you're serious about leveling up your house music production skills, message me VIP over Instagram and I will see if you're a good fit into my online coaching. But be quick, there's only 4 spots left before I will increase the price by $50. Option number 2 is the most cost-effective one, which is to join my DF Originals community over Discord. This is basically an exclusive members-only Discord group where we're going to work together with other music producers on mixing, arrangement. We're going to also do bi-weekly coaching calls. So whatever you're struggling with, you're going to be a part of an amazing community of house music producers where you're going to improve faster together. We're going to work together on a few tracks. I'm going to also sometimes send you a few samples, give you track feedback, so you're going to just improve way faster. But here's the catch. For every 10 members who join, I will increase the monthly fees by 50%. So if you want to join for just $10 a month, don't wait. Subscribe now via the Gumroad link, which is under this video, and be part of this amazing group of house music producers. I've already helped a bunch of house music producers to level up their game. Just see for yourself.
You were teaching your process of doing things, right? But then
Yes.
It's good to have a reference to understand how are other people doing it. So right now you told me, right, you're using presets and then you're tweaking. That didn't occur to me. I'm like sitting here and then I want to be original, have my own sounds.
I don't have anything else, but I definitely learned a lot, man. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
I definitely wouldn't have found any of this stuff out on my own.
So here's a little recap of this video. The first thing, which is the most important, of course, is the sound selection. Use presets, download samples, use preset and tweak on the presets a little bit, but usually I like to work with a sine wave and a square wave, or for example a saw wave with a low pass filter in the serum or in the synthesizer you're using. So then the most important thing is the kick you're using. What kind of kick? Is it punchy? Does it have enough low end? Just try a few combinations, because the combinations of what sounds you're using will make the whole track. Yes, mixing, as I say in all my other videos as well, mixing will make your song sound better, but everything comes from the sounds you're using. The sound selection is key, and this will determine if it's going to sound punchy or your bass line is going to sound good or not. Then of course everything else you can do is in the saturation, use proper sidechaining with Fruity Limiter or an LFO tool for example, and then also use tools like parallel processing, where you can basically saturate certain frequencies in a channel next to the main bass channel. It's going to make it so interesting. Also test a little bit the stereo image of the bass line. It's going to make it sound more interesting. Before you now continue scrolling mindlessly through YouTube, please make sure to check out this video as well, which explains exactly how to make your tech house drums very, very punchy. Very similar video to this one, but goes more into depth as well. Make sure to check it out right now. Like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you bro in the next video.